He was driving in Michigan, and this drunk driver came up and wrecked. He went flying. Hell yeah, we're telling the story.
Yeah.
Legal? That's legal. We didn't do shit. We did not do shit, okay? We did not do shit. But this fucking guy comes up, and he's speeding, and he just rams into the fucking, what do you call that?
The guardrail.
Oh. But he does it like an inch from the trailer, you know? And explodes.
8 miles, 9 miles an hour or something.
Well, we're leaving, and we call 911 and be like, that dude just bit it back there. You know, you get out there, and they're like, yeah, somebody's on the scene. Well, we got a 4-hour drive. This is midnight, so, you know, it sucks for him, but we got to roll, you know what I'm saying? We did call 911. Well, just the sheer shock of witnessing that started wearing on everybody, and then Chris started freaking out and hallucinating that he had driven this guy off the road and killed him. And like, and we were just like, we didn't really address it or think about it for several days until it started building into this crazy ass conspiracies. Everybody was hallucinating all these details that didn't happen and shit. So eventually we just called the police, or like Chris's mom called the police specifically. And they said that he had just been drunk and wrecked and fled from the scene to the hospital like 10 miles, and like the police were like, we're not interested in any information that you might have. It's pretty obvious what happened here. This guy was drunk and hit a wall. It was just funny. It was one of those things, one of those situations that like, it's very shocking to watch that happen right next to you, and you feel sort of a sense of responsibility to do something about it. We're not a team of paramedics. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We can't sober that guy up before he did that, you know. But life goes on. It was crazy.
That's pretty crazy. Like, have you guys ever come close to like dying?
That was the closest because it hit the wall and
it's so loud, right next to it.
There was one time we were driving through like the Michigan, and I was driving. It was all snow and everything. You know, they had those signs that say like roadway freezes before bridge freezes before roadway.
Yeah.
I was driving and we hit this bridge, and also it was like we were sideways going across this bridge, and it finally came back straight on the other side. I'm like, I look around and everybody's still asleep. Everybody's woke up.
Oh man, that's just.
That was another time nobody else.
Well, there was a time that Memphis turned into an ice cube when we were driving.
Oh, that was bad.
Like it was bumper to bumper traffic, and Memphis has these NASCAR-style off ramps. They're like, you know, kind of at an angle and at a curve. So you drive up on that when it's covered in an inch of ice with a van and trailer, and the trailer does this, and the van, you know, so you're dragging a sideways trailer, and if there's cars on all sides of you, that's pretty nerve-wracking because you have to keep moving, and it's kind of hard to do in bumper traffic.
That's crazy, man.
It's a little messed up.
So what's your motivation? What keeps you guys doing this? Because you've been doing it for a while, for 8-9 years.
The music. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yes. There's just, I don't know. I mean, you get, but there's very few chances you'll ever get to just have a bunch of dudes. You can make any type of music you want to and go play it for people. And you know, it's not always like awesome. You know, it's not always like the greatest in the world. But that's the motivation, and it's not something people get to do all the time. So definitely, yeah, it's kind of the music itself can kind of be like a drug, you know. Like you finally finish the song, you finally finish the mix, you know, and all that other stuff that you went through, you know, that when you're able to drive down the road and listen to it, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it is a sick addiction. You have to make it honest by convincing people that it's a commercial enterprise, and the more effective you are at music, the less effective of a commercial enterprise you are. So there's an extent to where you have to kind of like coerce industry and people into feeling that way about it until they've gotten to the point where they trust that what you do is music.
Yeah.
But seriously.
Look, man, I'll take your word for it. That sounds like noise.
Because the more crappy music is, the more it's just an imitation of something else that people have already bought. And the reason why it's crappy and the reason why it's being bought is because people are making it so that it will sell. They only know that it will sell because somebody else just fucking bought that same fucking thing. They're just like, instead of Coke, they've made the big K of the same beverage. You know, when you come with a new beverage, you can't. I mean, people aren't ready to drink that necessarily.
What is
You
a
gotta-
fucking twig floating in here? We got scorpion venom in this shit?
Yeah.
That's not
We're
cool,
the
man. He's trying to kill
scorpion
me. Yeah.
We are trying to kill them.
So, like, do you feel? I mean, there's so many bands out there right now. The market is like totally oversaturated. Going
Not for
MySpace.
long. Not for long.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just so like, where do you see it going then?
The economy is going to murder every band who plays it for
Yeah.
pussy and money,
Mhm.
and I can't wait until they're gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't like
The
sharing.
hobbyists aren't going to be able to throw money into bullshit advertising for their hobby, and it'll clear the way.
They need the people who want to get pussy, and that's their motivation in life. They need to just figure out a way to do that doesn't require elbowing people out of an art space so they can present art to people. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to make money, you know, music industry's crashed. So, you know, I don't know where you can make money anymore because everything's crashed. Actually, if you're a weapons manufacturer, I'm sure there'll be a war.
I know.
So, you know, if you're
it's true.
a morally debased person who wants to just make money at the expense of others, go into weapons manufacturing, not music. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
So you don't think it's going to go on this oversaturation of bands? You think that it's gonna completely die off? Because
It's already died if you ask promoters at venues. Their calendars are much thinner than they were 2 years ago. Because see, 2 years ago you had all this extra credit. People could take loans for random crap, whatever they wanted, and a lot of people were touring. You know, labels were putting out bands that were totally not profitable because they were just having huge budgets that they just needed to blow on something, and they signed about 15 bands that are all exactly the same, hoping that one of them will work. And you know what I mean? Like, everyone was touring like crazy because of MySpace and all this shit. The whole game changed. Everyone was excited, rushing into it, but I don't think that with a crashing economy, you know, there's not enough room for that, and people won't be able to afford it, and that'll be great.
So you want to do a horse and buggy, and a generator,
If it comes down to
siphon
it,
gas.
if there's hyperinflation, now I'm going to put this out there. Sorry, I almost not going on.
Me too.
We all got it. But if it comes down to it, and there is an event where there is hyperinflation, and it's impossible to buy items, then stay tuned to us, because we will still come in a horse and fucking buggy. And we'll have tobacco that you can trade for, or we'll have fucking
What's the word?
canned foods.
The agorism.
Agorism, yeah. We'll be like a general store / band, and we'll
We'll have like pallets of like chicken soup in the trailer, you know, quarter of or whatever. Trade it.
Then you'll be a big fucking draw when you're the only people that can
Burlap
buy
or
tobacco and
something.
food.
And trade it for some aluminum to reskin our trailer.
Yeah.
Do you guys? So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna just comment on that and ask. Do you guys feel a sense of pressure to be more commercialized ever? You know, dealing with labels, dealing with.
They will directly tell you that. It's not so much pressure as much as it's a direct statement. Like, they'll say to you, I won't specifically name names, but like, I've made a suggestion. One time I was talking to a label about, they were talking about us doing a record or recording, and we wanted to do it with. You ever heard of Sleepy Town Gorilla Museum?
Dude, of course. They're from Oakland.
Yeah. Their bass player, Dan, an amazing creator of instruments, engineer. We wanted to use him as a producer, and the response that we received was, ha ha ha.
That's what the label said?
Yes.
Nothing else.
In an email, ha ha ha.
What's up?
That's funny. Well, anyway, they went on to suggest somebody else very, very superficial that never recorded anything in his life that had some credits from playing. Which, I mean, yeah, they want credits. I understand. But, I mean, that guy's amazing. You don't laugh at that guy. Like, you know, laugh at that motherfucker, dude. He's better than anybody.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, when that happens, we just always be like, y'all can eat a dick, and we're out of here. We don't participate in that fucking shit where you're just like, you know.
That's just a slap in the face, that. I mean, and there's more mild forms of it. There's more subtler forms of it, I guess. But
you can cooperate commercially with someone who's investing in your band. That's fair. They're not musicians, or they would have a band. You know what I'm saying? Sure. If they want to have their own band, they want to make it sound exactly like freaking Killswitch Engage or whatever, then they're free to. You know, that's their choice. We are not going to do that because we can do something else than that. And there is a shitload of friends I know from my hometown that would love to jump on a big label and play in a band. Sounds like another band. I could find them a lot of people willing to do that.
Oh, Toby Keith.
Yeah, we could all go back to Nashville. We could do the little Nashville shit where we make a little beer commercially ass song for a bunch of Australian people or whatever, pretending to be Southern who don't understand the difference between boondocks and hillbillies and rednecks because they never lived there. You know, we could do that shit too, but you know.
I remember growing up, there's always this this thought for kids, or almost this mentality where it's start a band, get signed, you know, then you're big time, then you tour.
Yeah.
You know, was that mentality ever around for you?
Sort of. I mean, like when we came out to LA, that was kind of the thing. But
you wanted to network and you wanted to get contacts, and you need the contacts to do things. You need the contacts to get on tours. You need the contacts to get a record in the stores. You need the contacts to get investors for a product. You know, but it's not. But this whole thing where you get to win this super lottery and now you're at the top of the game and whatever, that shit is over.
Even by the time our band started getting into swing, it was like it was becoming unclear what to do. Like we were like, well, do you need to still get on a label and get signed and get a tour? Do you just need to do this? Do you need to do that? Do you need to? I mean, and it's still a little bit unclear. Like, I mean, it's clear what you're not doing. I think it's clear that the record industry is collapsing. But as far as what else you should do, that's still a little bit up in the air. It's like no one knows exactly.
Yeah.
The way everyone, I think, should think about it from now on is that a band show is a store. There's a store in which you have a mom and pop store, you sell arts and crafts in it. So you got internet and shit to promote it, and you can team up with another store and you can dual store it and run around the country. But you're trying to get people to enter your store to do a point of sale. That's the business model.
Okay.
Inside of there, you want high quality goods at a low price, and you want people to know that it's there. How is that hard? Instead, what the industry does now is they try and get you to spend money everywhere the band is not on shit you don't want. They give you the lowest quality music at the highest possible price, and they spend as much on it at the beginning as they possibly can, and most of that money goes to catering, while a bunch of people who are too important sit around and do cocaine and try and scheme someone to put some genitalia in their butt or something. Like, that is where most of the money goes. So people can get catering, do drugs, put genitals in people's genitals, and wherever the music in the storefront in there gets worked in, I have no fucking idea, because it ain't happening. And if people just looked at it like that, low quality, high quality goods, low price,
It's like
stores everywhere,
It's like the
play their own
Fred's
music.
commercial. You can't buy the store.
Yeah.
Fred.
That's the direction, man.
Fred's wife is
inflation,
the record industry, and Fred is us.
Interesting.
That's true. That's true.
So if you guys were to do this all over again, say you just started your band today, what would be the course of action to get your band off the ground?
I'm not going with that.
I would say a new band, I wouldn't even fuck with worrying about labels.
Okay.
If a label comes to you with the deal that you need because you legitimately can benefit from it, you won't have to ask them about it. They'll be like lined up at your door with money, and you'll be able to say no to them enough times where they come back with some shit that's not bullshit. But I would say now it's just all about that. You just build an internet presence. Well, actually, no. Make music until it sounds good, and then
do all that.
make an internet presence, and then tour off the internet presence, and then find a way to turn that to a point of sale that you can use to allow you to continue playing music.